What's up, Flannelverse? Here to start the weekly NBA show. Currently, just doing the show once per week. I've been hoping to do it more, but have not been able. This week, I was debating between today and Friday for the show, and then my entire household got sick. My wife got COVID. She tested positive for COVID a few days ago. She has been wiped out. My dog has been throwing up multiple times in the past week, and he never throws up. So I'm kind of thinking it's only a matter of time for me before I get sick, which is the worst. Just feeling like you're probably getting sick. Like now I kind of have like a little thing in the back of my throat. It feels a little bit dry. I'm kind of wondering, am I getting sick? So I decided to do the show today rather than Friday, just in case I am getting sick, get out ahead of it. And it's kind of a fun slate. That's the other thing. It's a 6-game slate. All 6 games start within half an hour of lock. I believe it's 3 games right at 7:30 Eastern, and then another 3 games at 8. Is that right? I think that's right. So should be kind of a fun slate. Sadly, my Timberwolves not on this DraftKings slate, but still kind of a fun one. And we just got the news. Good timing for the start of the show. We got the news that Anthony Simons is out and Delano Banton is starting for him. Of course, got that news earlier than most places because in the Unabated Discord, we have Justin Fan running things. Of course, he is the king of getting news out first. The show is, of course, sponsored by Unabated. Highly recommend checking it out. You can see at the top of the screen, there are reduced prices at Unabated for the remainder of the season, only $499 now through the playoffs, and you can get an additional 10% off. Oh man, do I have the number? I think it's 10% off using promo code Flannel or using the link in the description of this video. I think it's a fantastic product, well worth the price here. You can see here doing really well in the first half in terms of ROI. I, of course, cannot sports bet here in Minnesota, so I'm only using it for the pick'ems and for DFS. And I just realized that I did not put more money onto my Underdog account, so I might have to do that. We'll see. But we're going to take a look at some of the unabated pick'em stuff. Pick 6 also. We'll take a look at the best bets there, and then we'll go through position by position: point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, centers. Going to go look at who looks the best in terms of point per dollar value, and just in terms of who are the top projected plays overall. Once we've gone through all of the positions, I will play around with making lineups in Rotogrinders LineupHQ. That is the optimizer that Rotogrinders has available. You can also get that $10 off using the link in the description of this video or promo code Flannel. But yeah, I'll just go through and I'll make my lineups right here on the show. And then at lock, probably call it a day. Do have MLB locking before NBA today. So if you're playing MLB, make sure you get those lineups in as well. Make sure you lock in my guy Justin Steele into your lineups. I'll be not locking him in, but I'll be playing a lot of Justin Steele. Looking forward to watching him tonight. Playing around the same time as my Timberwolves. All right, let's get into it. Let's start with taking a look at the unabated pick'em stuff, see what the best options are right now. So we're going to go to the NBA tab, DFS pick'em. And as usual, you can, I'm going to use this. So 80% unabated NBA projections, 20% market-based projections. I believe last week we had 5 bets. They were all about 60% to hit. And what do you know? 3 out of the 5 hit. Obviously you're hoping for some positive variance when you're playing those. But in general, this has been pretty good for me, just using this as the baseline. So I'm using 20% market-based projections. So that's taking a look at what other books have the lines at, and kind of seeing where Pick 6 and Underdog, where the lines are relative to those other books, especially the sharper books. You can get an idea of what the line should be. So I'm using 20% market-based and then 80% unabated NBA projections, just using the unabated projections here. So we're going to start by taking a look at Underdog, which typically has the best lines. Oh yeah, we got some decent edge here. Julian Champagnie, under 4.5 rebounds, has a 23.7% chance of hitting. We've got Buddy Hield under 2.5 threes, 9.6%. Sorry, that's the edge, not the odds of hitting. I can see the probability after you add the pick into your card here. Now you can see the Julian Champagnie, that is a 67% chance of hitting. Buddy Hield, 63% chance of hitting, so a little bit better than out of 5 for both of them. We'll throw in Orlando Robinson as well, even in a nice matchup with the Bulls. Lower than 9.5 rebounds plus assists. Looks like a strong bet. Oso Iguodaro, lower than 5.5 rebounds. You can see our edge is up to 52.6. We'll throw in Iguodaro. Not really moving up that much at this point, but might as well throw in one more. We've got Blake Wesley, lower than 9.5 points plus assists. We're up to 84.2. So that one moved the needle quite a bit. And let me make sure that these are actually still available at Underdog. Uh-oh. All right, hang on. I'll bring it in from another screen. So I'm not showing my password on the screen here. All right, give me a second here. Yep, and I've got $0. I got 10 cents in my account. All right, give me 1 minute here. And then we'll see if these are all available. Can I do it quickly here? Oh, no. All right. Hopefully you have already found these in your Underdog account. Okay, this is not working. Shoot. Okay. So I'm not able to add. Not sure what the issue is there, but we're going to skip it. Just have to track outside it. All right. So here are the bets. We're going to go NBA. Oh, the default. I thought the default was pick 'em. All right. Let's see. So we're starting with Champagny, lower than 4.5 rebounds. Still there. We've got Buddy Hield, lower than 2.5 3-pointers. Still there. Orlando Robinson, lower than 9.5 rebounds plus assists. There we go. Iguodaro, lower than 5.5 rebounds. Not there. Bummer. Too slow on that one. And then Blake Wesley, lower than 9.5 points plus assists. All right, so we got 4 of these picks available. Now this one, when you remove Iguodaro, we're at a 52.7% edge on this one. I would probably just put, $20 on this, not putting 50 on this one. Not as massive an edge as you can sometimes see, but nice enough for play card here. I am not going to do it because, as you can see here, I think you can see 10 cents in my account currently. I played them. I forget what. I put them on UFL. Put all of my remaining dollars on one UFL card and barely lost it. It was very sad. But went all in for UFL and thought I was going to then re-up, put some more money in my account, and then I forgot to do so. So that would be the play right here at Underdog. Now let's take a look at pick 6. And one thing that I like about this Unabated tool is if any of these are repeats at pick 6 also, they're just going to stay on the screen. So you can see Blake Wesley was the only one that was the same here. Ooh, we got some nice juice here though. So we got Tyus Jones. Yeah, I mean, Tyus Jones hasn't even been starting. So these lower than 18.5 PRA for Tyus Jones, 28.1% edge. That looks pretty strong to me. We've got Chris Paul, lower than 9.5 rebounds plus assists, 15.1% edge. You can see the total edge doesn't show up on pick 6 because it is peer-to-peer, sadly. So you can't really calculate it without knowing what everybody else is doing. But you can see the probabilities here. I mean, this Tyus Jones, 73.6% chance of hitting. Blake Wesley, 60% chance of hitting. Actually, should I remove that one? It might not even be one of the top bets here. No, it is. Now it is. It's the third best. And then Trae Young, lower than 30.5 points plus rebounds. Nikhil Alexander-Walker. Love this. Ooh, higher than 14.5 PRA for Naw. I might go in and do some pick six, because not on the card here, but man, the Timberwolves might be running a 7-man rotation tonight. Naw should see some action. I really like this pick, 14.5. Taking the higher there on Naw looks like a really strong bet to me. And then if you want to, you can throw in Quentin Post, lower than 4.5 rebounds. There you go. If you want to play all 6, that looks like a pretty strong card here. But man, I think this number on Naw should be even higher, just for the, he could play big minutes, and he's a pretty strong. I mean, he's not that strong of a fan. He's pretty strong. I'm kind of exaggerating here a little bit, but I like it for the minutes upside. Just really like Naw. Just a great defender. Okay, there it is. There's your pick 6. What else do we have? PrizePicks. I don't really play PrizePicks that much. Okay, you can see your negative 3.64% edge on this one. Yeah, these don't look like good bets on PrizePicks, so we'll skip these. Now we like Naw higher than 4.5 rebounds plus assists. This one does have some strong edge here. Stephon Castle lower than 9.5 rebounds plus assists. We're up to 34.7% edge. Corey Joseph lower than 6.5 rebounds plus assists. Did that move the edge down? I think it did. Yeah. All right. So this is just a 2-play card, I guess, on PrizePicks. All right. I think that's good. Unless anybody has any thoughts on anything else you want to see. What's up, YSN? It's first time watching an NBA show. Let's get it. Yeah. You what are you here for? You want to talk DFS, or do you want to talk pick'em stuff? Take a look at props if you want to. I can't do props here, so I don't usually take a look at it, but happy to do so. Now let's get into it. Let's start the DFS slate. Again, we just had Anthony Simons ruled out, Delano Banton starting in his place. Oh, I think we just got some Bulls news, looks like. Just got it. You might not have seen it yet on Twitter, but I'm seeing it in the Unabated Discord, which again, highly recommend checking it out. So we've got Bradley Beal out, Royce O'Neal out. By the way, those broke several minutes ago. It's good to know. It's gonna be fun playing some Kobe White tonight. Maybe some Matas for the Bulls. It's going to be pretty condensed rotation there, probably for the Bulls with some players out. But yeah, we got Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal, I don't think I was expecting to miss, so that's interesting. Royce O'Neal also sick, so he's out. Oh, Josh Giddey. Sorry, I misread this. I'm saying this all wrong. That was we got Suns players out. The Bulls players are actually in. Josh Giddey available to play. Kevin Huerter available to play. We do have Dalen Terry and Julian Phillips out. So I guess Dalen Terry has been playing some minutes, so that should help a little bit. But yeah, did not get as many Bulls out as we could have. All right. So let's get into it. Let's get into DFS. I'm going to move this down to point guards, and then we're going to go position by position. And one thing that a lot of people don't know about Unabated, as I've learned as I've done the show, is yeah, they do have DFS projections also. So I'm going to load those into the Rotogrinders optimizer. As we get more news later, I'm just going to start using the Rotogrinders projections instead of coming back here every 10 minutes to update things. But to start, I kind of want to see what the Unabated projections are saying. So to find those, you go to NBA. Under the props page, we'll go to where it says my custom projections. Just gonna that drop down here. You can find the Unabated NBA projections. Hit the download button here. So I'm downloading those, and now in the back end, you can't see it. You have to kind of adjust your spreadsheet to fit whatever optimizer you're using. All I'm doing is there is a field called player, a column in the spreadsheet called player. I'm just changing that to name, because you need to for the Rotogrinders optimizer. And then there's one that's called DK points. And since I'm only doing DK here, I'm just going to change that column to FPTS. That's all I'm doing, changing those 2 column titles. And now I can upload this into the Rotogrinders optimizer. So here we go. They've already updated all of their stuff, but I'm assuming Unabated has too. So we'll go in upload projections. Gonna get rid of the old Unabated. That's from a different slate. All right. And now, so that worked. Now all I have to do is check that the names are correct. So Boucham. I'm just going to quickly scroll through here. Good. KPJ. Got to make sure he's in there. Gary Trent. Jaren Jackson was helpful for me last night. I had 14%. The field had 3%. Jaren Jackson, I'll show you why actually in a second here. But it was a Rotogrinders tool that got me on to Jaren Jackson last night, and it worked out pretty well. Uh-oh. Oh, because he's not on the slate. Okay, that's... Yeah. All right. Good. Just a lot of Timberwolves and Nuggets there. They are not, sadly, on the DraftKings slate, only on the FanDuel slate. Okay, good. So now I can move this to the unabated projections. So you can see no ownership projections for unabated. Actually, I thought I'd be able to use let me try shot quality. Okay, so I've got shot quality ownership in there, unabated projections. That is where we're going to start. We're going to start at the point guard position. Okay, YSN here for DFS. And Sublime, send me a super chat. Appreciate you, Sublime. Just a super chat saying great content as always. Very much appreciated. And I will. I'll keep it up. I'll keep going. All right. So a point guard. So my preference typically to do this, you can start one of two ways or one of three ways, really. I think are the best way to look at it. Is either going to be start at the top salary, work your way down, start at the top projection, work your down, or point per dollar. I like to start by just seeing who are the best point per dollar plays at each position. And you can see here, Delano Banton stands out. Looks like a phenomenal play tonight at 3,300, projected for 27 minutes, 30.6 fantasy points. Actually, let me see if those, I'm not sure if those minutes come in from Unabated or if those are Rotogrinders projections. Let me check that real quick. Unabated has Delano Banton at 27. Okay, I think, and then they have Shaedon Sharpe at 37. So let me just double check that. Shaedon Sharpe. Yep. So these are the unabated minute projections and fantasy point projections. Then we have the ownership coming in from Rotogrinders. I think the ownership isn't updated yet. So I think this is probably not updated for, I don't know, 17% feels like, no, maybe that is right for Delano Banton prior to the injury news with Anthony Simons out. So my assumption is that this ownership is going to come up pretty significantly on Delano Banton. My guess is that he's going to be like a greater than 50% owned play, just because look at this point per dollar again, 9.29. Actually, let me show you. Looking at all positions, he's the best at all positions by a wide margin. Delano Banton going to get a lot of ownership. You can see he's projected for more than a fantasy point per minute. So there's probably even a little bit of juice to play more than 27 minutes for Delano Banton. Somebody wrote him up already. Here's what Taylor has to say. Scoot Henderson will remain out tonight for the Blazers while Anthony Simons is questionable with a forearm injury. Banton struggled in the last game, but he's been a prolific on a per minute basis for the season, 1.03 fantasy points per minute. If Simons winds up sitting, he'll become one of the best cheap values on the entire slate. I take it a step further. I think he is the best cheap value on the entire slate. Banton, somebody that I'm going to have in over 50% of my lineups, I'm sure. I think a pretty nice matchup for Atlanta. They've been a strong matchup all year. Now I'm just going to show you the last 10 games. How have they been doing? I haven't looked at this yet, so I'm curious myself. Atlanta 8th in terms of pace over the past 10 games. You can see their defensive rating 116.7. which is 17th. So they're middling in terms of defensive rating over the past 10 games, but they play at a pretty fast pace. So a strong matchup for Delano Banton getting the start. Yeah, I think he looks like a strong play. Now, what did he do last time out? Ooh, 18 minutes, just 7 fantasy points. Okay, yeah, so that's not great. But you can see the game prior, 9 fantasy points in just 5 minutes, 11.5 and 13 against Cleveland. Basically a fantasy point per minute in most of these games. Then you see, an outlier here against Denver, which is another pretty strong matchup. So overall, looks like a strong play. Should be getting fair minutes here. Only 3,300. I think Delano Banton, you might see some pros lock him into 150 lineups tonight. That wouldn't surprise me if there are pros that just lock him into 150. I don't know that I'll take it quite that far, but I think I'll be above 50% Delano Banton. Then you've got Ryan Rollins has been, getting the starts there. Projected for 28 minutes, 26 fantasy points, still only 4,300. Looks like a pretty strong play. Not nearly on the same level as Banton, but Ryan Rollins certainly playable there. Jonathan Mobo, 4,100, projected for 25 minutes. Nice matchup with the Bulls. They've been one of the fastest paced teams all season. They are the fastest paced team over the past 10 games. Looks like a fairly strong. Oh, I'm not sorry. I was wondering why Mobo is showing up as a point guard. Okay, that's why, because I had gone away from just point guard. So we got Delano Banton, Ryan Rollins, Shaedon Sharpe again projected for 37 minutes, 39 fantasy points, better than a fantasy point per minute player. He is 6,700, so not quite the same value as Delano Banton, but still just a really strong play. Big upside here with no Anthony Simons, no Jeremy Grant again, of course. Jamal Shed, a little bit more iffy, just because. So again, it's a great matchup with the Bulls. Toronto is we should pull it Tankathon, but they're very much in tank mode. They are 7th currently in Tankathon. They've won 4 games in a row. My God. Okay. I did not realize they were on a 4-game winning streak. That is dumb. I don't know what they are doing, but they've won 4 in a row. That is kind of insane. They still have a 32% chance of getting a top 4 pick. And they've been pretty wonky with their minutes in general. Jamal Shed has been on the negative side of that. Man, he's on a bit of a run. I did not realize how well things are going for Jamal Shed right now, but still the minutes are not excessive. 24, 22, 27. So he is kind of capped in terms of his minutes upside, but he's shown that he can still pay it off pretty well, even in limited minutes. So not quite the ceiling. I don't think he has like a 32-minute ceiling just based on what we've seen. So it's kind of hard to get there if you're capped at like 27 minutes. Like how high of a score can you really put up? But at 4,600, certainly playable in a great matchup with the Bulls. Projected for 20% ownership. Feels about right to me for Jamal Shed. Terrence Mann projected for 22 minutes. Now we're getting into some more questionable value. Terrence Mann, 22 minutes, 17.5 fantasy points, 13.6% ownership. Same price as Delano Banton. Delano Banton, just a very obviously better play there. Terrence Mann has minutes back down to just 14 the last time out. For a little bit, he looked like he was trending in the right direction, but back down to 14 minutes. Not ideal. We do have Trae Young playing today. DeLone Wright looks meh. Fine. 31 minutes, 23 fantasy points for DeLone Wright is okay. I kind of like everybody against Philadelphia. Yeah, so Campaign out. I didn't realize that Campaign is out too. So now they got Jalen Brunson, Miles McBride, Campaign all out. Yeah, I mean, that's great matchup with Philadelphia. They've been pretty terrible defensively. The worst defense in the league. So yeah, I called him meh. I think I take that back. I think it's actually a pretty strong play at 4,400 for DeLone Wright, particularly if he's not going to get much ownership against Philadelphia. Potentially Cat out also, which probably helps some. AJ Green ruled out. Okay, so that's some news. Oh, we're getting lots of news. Okay, hang on. Let me go through the news. So we got Lonzo Ball ruled out. I think that was expected. For the Sixers, we have Jeff Doughton, Jalen Hood-Schifino are both inactive. So the Sixers might be a little bit more limited than usual. AJ Green out for the Bucks, so which should benefit KPJ a little bit, and Ryan Rollins, I guess. All right. So you can see here, we're moving our way down to AJ Green. Now it just makes it a little bit more likely, I think, that we're going to see KPJ and Ryan Rollins play together with AJ Green out there. They're probably going to overlap a little bit more. So I think there's a little bit more upside on KPJ. So I think this number is he's going to look a little bit better with AJ Green out of there, and Ryan Rollins will also. Podziemski, this is going to be a fight here. Golden State and Memphis. Podziemski projected for 32 minutes, 33 fantasy points. Very, very little ownership. Memphis has been a team that you can attack in DFS all year. Defensive rating actually not 15th, so middling in terms of defensive rating. Their pace has been third fastest in the league over the past 10 games. All right, now I'm thinking I might want to update things. What's going on, Steven? Good to see you here. Oh, Slicks. Okay, I missed this. Terrence Mann got ejected in the last game. Okay. I see. He was one that I was kind of wondering if those minutes were going to come down. It was looking a little bit volatile there for Terrence Mann for a while. All right, so we got ejected in that one. So never mind. It's down to 18 and 17 in those two games. I don't know. This was the game. I believe I targeted him in this game because he had all these like 26, 29, 26, and I thought he had, and I was right about it. I was like, I think he has his minutes upside is being projected for like 24, 25, and I was like, he has 29 minutes is upside. He played 29 and let me down in a big way, sadly. And then after that, though, it's kind of, I don't know, it's been sporadic, which is not the worst thing in DFS when your minutes are kind of all over the place. Maybe for game log watchers like myself, apparently, maybe this will lower the ownership a little bit. That he got ejected in that one. But still, we just have better plays at point guard. All right, at some point, yeah, I think we're going to have to switch over the projection set we're using just because I don't want to keep updating, going back and having to redo the upload every time, sadly. But I'll go quickly, just see what we had prior to some of this news in Unabated, and then I'll go back through real quick. So this is the latest is these are the top of point per dollar. Also sort by salary real quick. So Trae Young looks pretty good, projected for over 48 fantasy points, 25% ownership, going to be guarded by Delano Banton. I don't have much thought on Delano Banton as a defender. I guess I could pull up dunks and threes in a minute. Quentin Grimes, man, up to 9,400. 32 minutes, 39 fantasy points at 9,400. Not going to get the job done. Not going to get any ownership. And I guess we've seen Quentin Grimes break the slate at zero ownership. So I don't think I'm going to get there, but I've done worse things. Steph Curry, 34 minutes, 45 fantasy points at 9,100. Just a little bit worse than a 5x value. Again, I think this is going to be a very competitive game. There's playoff implications involved. Golden State and Memphis, just a 4-point spread here, high team totals. So kind of like just attacking that game in general. And I think Steph Curry at 8.5% ownership, probably a player that I'm going to try to get above the field on. John Morant, they're actually pretty similar. I mean, Steph, 100 more expensive and projects over 2 fantasy points better. But I don't know. This is the game where I wouldn't be that shocked to see Ja play extended minutes here if the game does stay close, and he's getting zero ownership. So actually, I think I want to be above this 4% number on Ja also. Scotty Barnes. Now, I want to see what's going on with the minutes here for Scotty Barnes, because this is really how you can see what the team is trying to do. It's been frustrating because there have been games when I just like ruled him out. This game against Washington, I was like, I'm not playing Scotty Barnes. Yeah, and the minutes are not there. Like he's capped at 29 against San Antonio. It's been several games since they played him 30 minutes again because they are in the tank hunt. So I think probably 29 minutes is about his upside here. He can get it done. It's a nice matchup with the Bulls. I still don't think I'm going to get there on Scotty Barnes. Just so tough to get there and project for 28 minutes. It's so tough to get there. All right, so we just got a bunch of updates here. All right, whatever. I'll go there later. Quickly, similarly, like 27-minute projection. Tough to get there. Dyson Daniels, 7,500. Does not project well point per dollar at all. Not projected for basically any. We can't see what the. Let me try this again. reset them. 3.5% projected ownership on Dyson Daniels. Again, KPJ I think is going to be pretty interesting now. Some minutes volatility there also. All right, I think we're good at point guard. I'm just going to go quickly now. I'm going to go shooting guard to see who are the top point per dollar. Justin Champagny, 3,300, 22 minutes, 19. See, this is more questionable value on Champagny. I'd just rather play Banton, obviously. Connor Gillespie been starting for Phoenix, projected for 25 fantasy points. I don't know where the minutes are here. I guess we do have a couple players out for Phoenix, so I think those minutes are a little bit more secure for Gillespie. He could play north of 30 minutes here. I want to make sure he's starting. I think if you're playing any Gillespie, like if he's coming off the bench, I would get rid of any exposure you have to him. Jared Rhoden available. We got the Magic starting lineup, which is the same as it has been. Oh, Karl-Anthony available to play. That's interesting. And he's not starting, which I don't think that's a big surprise. It's still going to Corey Joseph at point guard. We already talked about Shaedon Sharpe. Mikal Bridges, I'm suspecting that Cat is going to sit tonight and play tomorrow in Cleveland. If that ends up happening, then Mikal Bridges is going to look better than he does right now against Philadelphia. The spread will, be a little bit closer in that one. Currently, it's a 13-point spread here. That would be a tighter spread with no Cat there, and just more usage to go around. So I think Mikal Bridges would look pretty good if Cat ends up sitting. Tumani Kamara, 5,800 looks pretty good. Again, no Anthony Simons. Gets a bump there. Franz Wagner looks like a strong play against San Antonio. I mean, Orlando's been like not great at all, but San Antonio has been pretty horrible defensively. Let me see how bad it's been recently. Yeah, second worst in the league over the past 10 games, 121.8 defensive rating. Devin Booker, no Kevin Durant here, so Booker should see some pretty strong usage. Both these guys, Wagner and Booker, getting a fair amount of ownership. Moses Moody, I would put in the playable category, project for 29 minutes, 23.5 fantasy points, just a little bit worse than a 5x value. Kevin Huerter is in. Meh. Kobe White did not get all those players out that we thought they might for the Bulls, so doesn't really jump off the page. I'd say still playable. Hang on a second. All right, let's move on to small forward. I'm going to do this again. I'm just going to go through quick. Cody Martin, 3,000. Looks like pretty questionable value here. I guess gets a benefit from players out for the Suns. 21.5 projection at 3,000. Playable. I don't know what I want to see what the minutes projection is there. Zachary Risache looks okay. He's shown a bit of upside from time to time. Damn, 47.5 last time out. Okay, there it is, just right there. But even if he puts up 30, that'll do. At 4,500. Jacoby Walter. Somebody wrote him up. Taylor wrote him up. He's been playing decent minutes. It's a nice matchup with Chicago. He's only 4,100. So yeah, I like that call from Taylor. Ryan Dunn, more secure minutes with Royce O'Neal and Tyus out. Man, Kuzma up to 6,500 is a kind of a tough sell. 10% ownership is even tougher sell there. Playable, just a little bit worse than 5x value. He's somebody that I want in a 150 set, just not like a huge priority for me. Jimmy Butler, I kind of want to get there. He projects for 11% ownership, 34 minutes, 41 fantasy points at 8,600. Again, just like I think that could be a very competitive game. So Butler kind of intrigues me. Josh Hart, particularly if Cat is out, I'm going to like Josh Hart. I'm going to like him either way. Just the Knicks in general, just a team that I tend to want to be overweight to the field just because of the minutes upside there. But again, I'll like him particularly if Cat is out. 41 minutes against Milwaukee, 38 against Portland for Josh Hart. Could see 40 plus minutes again, even if Cat is in, but especially if Cat is out. In Philadelphia, so you can see there's a big spread there, which is a little bit of a concern, but also Tibbs is the coach. Like, Tibbs isn't going to pull these guys unless it's really out of hand, unless they like really have a 20-point lead with 5 minutes left. At that point, maybe Tibbs starts to think about, do I want to pull these guys? But just not one to really limit his starters that much. Yeah. Debating Ricky Council, but I don't think so. All right, power forward. I'll check in on comments real quick before I move on. All right. Bob Cousy out. Is that an old guy reference? Optimal Prime says, spot on with Isaiah Stewart. I remember you saying you wanted to play some beef stew, and Sasser the other didn't have the heart, but you didn't. You gotta play your convictions, man. Come on, what are you doing? Yeah, Sasser was in the winning lineup at 1.6% ownership, and then Isaiah Stewart, I guess the next game maybe gets ejected for trying to fight all my Timberwolves. Appreciate you, Optimal Prime. It's very kind of you. Oh, it's good to hear you love the UFL coverage. My DFS podcast also loves spring football. You do your own UFL podcast. That's fun. Yeah, UFL. Glad to see it's still 10,000 at first this week. I was worried that for a minute I was like, are they just going to cut the UFL product? That would be very upsetting if they did. All right, I'm going to get back to this real quick. All right, power forward, top point per dollar. We've got Jonathan Mobo. We talked about him already. Nice matchup with Chicago. Zachary Risache, Mommy, as Fast City Furious call him, Mamouche. I can't pronounce it. How do you pronounce this word? Mamukelashvili. Mamuk. That's why people just started calling him Mommy back in the day, and I'll go with that. Denny Avdia looks pretty good. He's continuing to crush. I mean, just look at these scores. He has been very consistent. Scored as many as a nice 69 fantasy points on the 19th. Play some Denny Avdia. I mean, 29% ownership, so there is that. Again, Draymond, I think I'm going to lean into that game a little bit just because I think that the minutes could. A lot of these guys projected for like low 30s minutes, and I wouldn't be that surprised if we see more minutes than usual on the Golden State and Memphis players. Paolo, man, he's 9,900. That's tough, but it is a nice matchup. Projects for 50 fantasy points, 37 minutes. Looks pretty good. Matas, we saw a ceiling the other night, projected for about 5x value. Playable. I'd say you can play some Matas. We'll see. We got a couple players out for the Bulls, so maybe the projection comes up a little bit when we flip back over to the RG projections. Giannis looks great. I think he's the top projected play on the slate. Yeah, can't really argue with Giannis. 31% projected ownership feels about right to me there. I believe Yabu is questionable last I looked, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. But he'll look fine, especially if Cat is out. I think he'll look even better. Bol, does he get into the game tonight with some players out for the Suns? If he's in the starting lineup, I would go to some Bol if he starts. I'm not expecting it, but could happen. All right, and then finally center. And again, I'm going to come back real quick and do this after we update the projections. Although I think in 14 minutes, we're going to get another update with Cat news. We'll know probably one way or the other with Cat. I think that's the only one we're really waiting on for the first lock time, right? We got the Trae Young news. We got the Anthony Simons news. I think it's just Cat that we're waiting on. But center, top point per dollar, Mobo, Mommy, Jeremy Sohan, 5,200, 27 fantasy points. Looks pretty good. Tough matchup with Orlando. Mitchell Robinson. So again, if Cat ends up sitting, I think Mitchell Robinson probably gets the start at center for the Knicks. And I think he'll look great. I think he'll probably project for mid-20s fantasy points. And I would like him quite a bit in a great matchup with Philadelphia. Quentin Post looks fine. Orlando Robinson, no real priorities here. Yeah, we got Jakob Poeltl in there, which makes it a little bit tougher to want to go to Orlando Robinson. Donovan Clingan looks okay. I think a lot of Portland guys. I am going to limit myself to 3 players from any team tonight. Guerschon Yabusele was removed from projection, so I assume that means Yabu is out. I missed that. Yeah, Guerschon Yabusele ruled out. Jared Roden. Did I say that already? Maybe I read it off right before we got that news. So we might get Adem Bona starting for the Sixers potentially, but he's 4,900, so still doesn't become some huge priority. Brook Lopez, I always kind of like Brook Lopez. Let me pull up dunks and threes. All right. Oh crap! All right, hang on. Yeah, there was like a week where Bol Bol was absolutely smashing, and then kind of came back down to earth, and they stopped playing him as much. I picked him up and had him on my season-long team, which, by the way, I'm in the championship this year, and just learned that there is no money involved. So I've been setting my lineups, been locking in players, and then just learned that this year there's no money involved because we switched the rules, and I don't know. All right, Nick Richards. Ooh, this is not great for Nick Richards in the 2nd percentile in terms of defensive EPM. That is bad. Mason Plumlee was 15th percentile. That was already bad. Nick Richards, this is so not a bad spot, I guess, is the takeaway there for Brolo against Nick Richards. Zach Edey, this is interesting. Only projected for 19 minutes. I think he started both games since they switched coach. Oh, he only played 12 minutes against Boston. That's interesting. Don't know what happened there. Does anybody know what happened there? I played a ton of him, I believe, or above the field. Maybe not a ton, but I think I played a lot of him in that game. That was just last night. Oh, I got 2 fouls in minute 40, and then another foul. Okay, so this is just I'm intrigued by Zach Edey. If it looks like he missed a lot of time due to foul trouble, because he had in the game prior, I think he played like 27 minutes. So I think I had projected him, like I upped his minute projection to 27. I think it was like 24 or something. All right, where is this? Here we go. Against the Lakers, got the start, played 26.5 minutes, played really well. I'm kind of intrigued. I'm intrigued by Zach Edey as just so what's the ownership there? Yeah, not getting any ownership, being projected for 19 minutes here. And I think you only played 19 minutes because of foul trouble. Now he's 4,600, so it's not like he's going to stand out as some awesome value. But let me see if I move him to 26. Project for 30 fantasy points at 4,600. He would look like a pretty damn strong play. So I think Zach Edey is pretty intriguing just because he played 26.5 the first or 2 games ago with this new coaching staff. I assume he gets a start again here. I like it. Cat, if he plays, I mean, Cat is a pretty strong play once again. Triple J, again, could see extended minutes in a close game. I think he's pretty intriguing. If Cat sits, we can consider Precious Achua. All right. Iguodaro almost. I don't know. I don't think I need to go there. Oh, all right. I am going to switch to Rotogrinders projections now, just because it's easier to get the updates since they automatically come in here. No, to be fair, it was never a big money league. It's just the same guys I do or some of them, the same guys I do my fantasy football league with. And I think he probably had told me at some point, and I just didn't really care. It's a league where it's not roto, so I never pay attention to this league typically because it has historically been roto. They made changes this year to its points, and so it's a points league, and you lock in one score per player in your starting lineup. So you choose your starting lineup and you only get one score per week. So it kind of has like got me invested a little bit more because I can look at projections, pick up whoever is like the top point per dollar player in projections, whatever. So I've been more competitive because it is more of a format that I'm willing to spend the time on rather than like learning like roto stuff. You have to figure out like, oh, do I want a guy who's going to get rebounds and has a high, field goal percentage, or do I want the 3-point, whatever. So I never really pay attention during roto leagues, but it has got me. This new format has got me paying attention. And honestly, in this league, the bragging rights are worth it for me. So I am going to continue. All right, I'm gonna switch to, I'm gonna refresh and switch to the updated Rotogrinders projections because we have had some more news come out recently. I do think the unabated projections, like if I were not doing a show, I think it is worth it to use their projections because not that many people are using them, and they're good projections. Like they have really short people doing them. So I think there is some advantage to using good projections that not that many people are using. But since I'm on a show and I don't want to keep going back and forth, I am just going to use the Rotogrinders, and I use these pretty regularly. Also, Rotogrinders obviously also does great projections. But let's see where we're at now. So again, I think I'm still at point guard on the sidebar. So I'm going to now continue moving on. All right. So point guard, point per dollar, using the Rotogrinders. Still Delano Banton by a country mile here. 33 fantasy points. Now he's up to 61% ownership. So that, I don't know if I want more or less than that. I think I'm probably going to end up with more than 61%. But that feels about right. Then we got Ryan Rollins, again, no AJ Green. So the projection comes up a little bit more likely that he's going to see some time on the court at the same time as KPJ. So, minutes a little bit more secure with no AJ Green there. Connor Gillespie, 26 minutes, 26 fantasy points, 4,400 looks pretty good. Yeah, nothing has really changed here. Oh, Tyus is in. Why did I think Tyus was out? Who was the second player that was out for the Suns? I should know that because he, of course, went to my high school. Tyus Jones, huge fan of Tyus Jones. All right, let me see. All right, we got Royce O'Neal out, and we got Bradley Beal. Bigger news than Tyus being out, but also he's missed a lot of games. Okay. So Tyus is in there. Tyus could start. I mean, if Tyus ends up starting, I would really like Tyus. Project for 24 minutes, 21 and a half minutes. But I shouldn't say really like he still wouldn't stand out as like some awesome value, but I'd be intrigued. Yeah, we kind of already went through a lot of this. But yeah, Banton stands out. I don't think anybody else has really jumped up in the rankings. Probably going to get cat news in the next 5 minutes. It is a game time decision, so not necessarily. KPJ still being projected for 23 minutes, but there's more upside now. So let's see. They have 23 for KPJ and 28. So they have 3 minutes overlap right now for those two. And we could see more than that, I think. And KPJ, just a really strong fantasy producer. So I am intrigued by KPJ. If he does come in at 4% ownership, that's a number that I want to be on top of. All right, now I'm going to go shooting guard. Also, Delano Batten. Gillespie, if he starts, playable. Buddy Hield looks okay. 11% ownership feels about right. Really want that cat news before I make my lineups. I think he's going to sit, but we'll know. We'll know soon. All right, let's look at small forward. Again, Cody Martin, the best value here. Gets a bump from the other guys out for Phoenix. What is this? Yeah, Keldon Johnson looks okay. 29 minutes, 28.5 fantasy points at 5,100. Actually, a pretty strong play there. Harry Barnes. OG Anunoby again. Looks like really strong value, actually. Look at this. 7,300 projected for 40.5 fantasy points, 36 minutes. Did not really stand out to me before, the other projections. Power forward. Nobody standing out as an amazing play. We got Mamukashvili. 17 minutes, 19 fantasy points. All right. In a minute, I'm just going to start building lineups. Okay, so Edie, this is because I changed his projection. The source value was 19 minutes. I moved him up to 26, which is aggressive, putting him at 26. But I want to see how much I get to, because this is the kind of stand I like to play sometimes, where I think that there is potentially a discrepancy between where his minutes could be and where they're projected for. Now, it also might be a matchup thing. Maybe don't think Draymond is the best matchup for Edie. I don't know why he's being projected for so low minutes. But new coaching staff, I think he could just be the starter, and maybe they're willing to extend his minutes a little bit more. So I'm willing to, take a stand there just because of the lack of ownership. Not even that I think he's going to play upper 20s minutes necessarily, but I think it's well within the range of outcomes. I think there's maybe a 30% chance that he sees more than 25 minutes. And if that's the case, and he's coming in at 0 ownership, that is a play that I want to make. We do get a Dembona now moved up here with no Gershon Yabusele, projected now for 28 minutes, 26.5 fantasy points at 4,900. So he looks like a fine play. Still doesn't really stand out. Again, Mitchell Robinson will stand out if we get that cat news and cat is out. Can we get that? Can we get that right at 7 Eastern? That would be helpful. Oh, we just got it. There it is. Cat out. Mitchell Robinson will start. Hell yeah. Okay. I say hell yeah, we get that news and nobody else has it. We're all getting a half an hour before lock. So what are you going to do? Everybody's going to make that pivot to Mitchell Robinson. He's going to get a lot of ownership, I would imagine. But still, good to know that now. Now I just have to wait for the projections to update a bit before I start messing with my lineups. I guess I can start setting some rules now. So I'll get into my build rules here. And while I'm doing this, I always like to, when I have time, just lay this out. Using an optimizer, all the optimizer is trying to do is give you the best projected lineup using your source projection. So if you don't set any kind of rules and you hit make one lineup, that one lineup is going to be the top projected lineup that can be made using your projections within the salary cap. Now, every change you make to the back end, if you say limit to 3 players from a team, if you say only play this player at the point guard position, not or at the shooting guard position would be the one people actually do, not point guard, whatever. Any other change you make is going to lower the projection on your set of lineups. And same thing, if say if I take Zach Edey's projection, like I did, from 22 to 30 fantasy points, now I'm going to get a lot more Edey, and it's going to look like it projects better because I gave him a boost to his projection. But relative to the source projections, which had him at 22, I'm going to get a lot more of those lineups that are going to actually project worse according to the source projection than they would have prior to me making that change, even though obviously they using my new projections after I update him. We got Cat removed. So keep that in mind. Any change you make to, and same thing, like throwing on randomness, like so randomness is going to change the projection for every player for every lineup, at least like in theory. So even like throwing randomness on there, like if you throw on 10% randomness and then say make me one lineup, it's probably not going to be the top projected lineup anymore, because some other player is going to their projection with the 10% boost is going to jump over some player who actually projects better. So like everything you do is just going to change is going to make your projection a little bit worse. Yeah, glad to hear that. Optimal Prime says that explanation just helped me look at Optimize in a wholly different way. It's simple and matter of fact. It is. It's really simple the way they work, and I think a lot of people don't totally understand how optimizers work. And I think just like having that basic concept in mind, like it's trying to optimize your lineups, and then you are trying to set rules that are going to give you better lineups that and when I say optimize in the sense of projection, like just in terms of projection generally, and then you set rules that are going to give it better correlations or limit some things in how it works. So yeah, it is generally pretty simple, but also something that a lot of people misunderstand how it works. All right, we're continuing to get lineups. Let me see do we have Mitchell Robinson. All right, so they only moved him up to 20 minutes, 20.7 fantasy points. They moved Precious up more. That's interesting, because we got the news that Mitchell Robinson is starting. I wonder if this is going to change again. Let me take a look at the hoops. Let me take a look at all of the latest. Bucks starters as expected, with Ryan Rollins, Taurean Prince, Kuzma, Giannis, Lopez. So yeah, no KPJ starting, sadly. Sixers will start Walker, Grimes, Council, Edwards, Bona. Is that Lonnie Walker? That's different, right? Or maybe they have been starting Walker. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that has been the starting lineup. All right, let's see. Suns are starting Connor Gillespie again. Booker, Grayson Allen starting. Dunn and Nick Richards. That's interesting. I don't know if Grayson Allen was expected to start there. Bucks will start. Yeah, same starting lineup for the Bucks. I want to get into this. Okay, I didn't set my rules. So I said I was going to start doing that. I'm going to do that before I update these projections to make sure they're up to date. All right, so I'm going to go to build rules. So range of outcomes. So again, I like to put on 10% randomness because I don't want, the other thing is like if you just run 150 without any rules on, it's going to give you the top 150 projected lineups. They're also probably going to look pretty similar to each other. So it is good to set some rules you'll bring down the projection, but make a better set of lineups. Number of unique players, only 6 games on this slate. I'm going to set it at 2. So all my lineups are at least 2 apart from each other. I don't set any kind of max exposure, but I will adjust projections to get more or less of players. Yeah, okay, good. And then I'm going to go to groups. No. Stacks. Wait. What do I want to do here? What do I usually do? Oh, here it is. Players per team. That's all I try to do. I'm going to set this to max of 3 per team. So I'm not going to get more than 3 players from a team in any of my lineups. I'm going to start there. All right, and let me see how many I'm playing today. I think it's more than 150. $171. Okay. I'm going to download those. I'm going to run 171 lineups. Here, I'll set that running. Actually, let me refresh the projections first. It's interesting. They have Precious projected for. I think I'm going to move up Mitchell Robinson's projection a bit. Oh, we just got some more news. Hawks will start Young, Daniels, Risache, yeah, same starting lineup as usual. Okay. I'm going to click reset here, see what that does. Actually, I want to see how this another Rotogrinders partner is shot quality. I want to see what their projections look like. Looks the same. 20 on Mitch Robinson, 26 on Precious. I'll move back to Rotogrinders. I think that there's upside. Like, I think that it's a good projection, but also I think Mitchell Robinson could just smash this Philadelphia lineup. So I am going to bake in a little bit more upside there on Mitchell Robinson. You see, he's just over a point per minute producer. I'm going to put him towards his high end, maybe at his high end, 24 minutes for Mitchell Robinson. I'm also going to move Precious down to 24. And then I'm going to run the lineups. And Zach 80, you can see that one moved down. I'm actually going to move him back up before I run lineups just to see where we're at. All right. Now I'm going to run 171 lineups. And then once this is done, I will adjust. Just messing with my spreadsheet right now. Okay. I think he's still probably on some sort of a minutes limit. Like, I don't think he has not played big minutes at all this season. But he played 18 against Milwaukee 2 games ago. Played 23 against Miami. So I think he could hit 23. Could hit, like, he could hit higher with no Cat in there, since he's been. See, I don't want 67% though, so I'm gonna have to move that back down. I wanted to be a little bit aggressive there, just because I think that there is upside. He's starting the game. It's a great matchup. If the game stays close, I wouldn't be that shocked if he hits 24, 25 minutes. I think he could smash in those minutes, but also, I was not expecting to get 67% by putting him at 23, so I'm going to, or 24, so I'm going to move this back down to 22. I think I'm going to keep Precious here because I don't think I want more than 35% Precious. He's off the bench, yeah. Looks like the regular Blazers lineup. Like 35% feels like a lot of Precious anyway. Now I did get, so I moved Zachy just to 25 minutes. We must not have, my takeaway is that our center is not a great slate for centers. The fact that I'm getting this much of these guys. Okay, here, we just got the Knicks starting lineup. Delon Wright, Bridges, Anunoby, Hart, Robinson. Okay, that's as expected. All right, so let's see. I'm going to go position by position real quick, see how much I'm getting of everybody. You can see actual exposure here. 100% Delano Banton currently. So here I am going to move his projection down. So he's at 33. Like, that's just, it's a really, really strong projection. I'm going to move him down to 29 fantasy points. So I'll still get over 50%, I assume, moving him there. I'm cool with 23% alone, right? He's only projected for 5% ownership. Yeah, I'll take it. Nice matchup with Philadelphia. Ryan Rollins, I'm happy with that ownership. I'm okay with 13.5% Gillespie with all those players out. Jamal Shed, yeah, he's shown he can do it in limited minutes. I guess 4% feels fine. I was debating if I want to move that up. Terrence Mann, 22-minute projection. So he ejected in this game. He played 27, 24. Do I want to move him up? I'm gonna move him up just to 23, just to get maybe a little bit more. Emmanuel quickly, I'm torn. Like there have been slates where I just removed Toronto because they're limited in terms of their minutes upside. Like I'm torn about whether, but then they keep on doing well anyway. So maybe I'm okay with getting a little bit of Emmanuel quickly. Tyus sadly still not starting. 48% Trae Young. I'm not going to change anything on him right now. Pods is kind of interesting. I'm going to move him up slightly. Again, love that game environment. How much Steph did I get? I'm going to sort by, salary. So 48% Trae Young, 19% Devin Booker. Not seeing his projected ownership here. No Kevin Durant. I know Booker's been pretty cold lately, but I kind of don't hate the idea of just like, he's still got all the usage. Like he could just suddenly start shooting a little bit better. I'm gonna move him up slightly. Giddey has been crushing it. I do like Curry here. I'm gonna move him up to 45. And again, you can see this is this has always been my process. Like this is not a scientific process. It's very much eyeing things, seeing do I want more or less of that player. I'm also going to move Ja up to, these project for even less ownership than Curry. I like the upside there. I'm going to move him up also to 45. So I should theoretically, like, there's some randomness on here, but typically I'll get more of Ja. I put him on the same projection. Ja is cheaper, so I'll get more of Ja typically. I think I'm okay. I'm getting 0 Scotty Barnes. I'm a little bit scared of it against Chicago, admittedly, but I'm going to allow it just to get 0. I'm going to move Dyson Daniels up just a little bit. I do kind of like KPJ here again, just because I think there's upside for upper 20s minutes. So I'm going to see if I put him at 26. Try to get a little bit there. Shed looks fine. All right. Good. Small shooting guard. Kind of like Franz, just a great matchup here. They've been struggling, but at some point, again, similar to Devin Booker, it's just like, if I can get reduced ownership, I guess not really reduced here, but great matchup with the Spurs. Not getting any Kobe White. I think that's a little bit risky. I want to get a little Kobe. Especially if everybody else on the team is kind of banged up. 6% ownership. I kind of like it. I'm going to move him up even more. Desmond Bane, again, love that game environment. Now, he does not project well at all at 8,400. Move him up just a little bit to potentially get him into some lineups with my randomness on there. I think I'm okay with no Devin Vassell. No Castle. 77% Mikal Bridges is a bit much. I like him with no cat in there, but I'm going to move him down slightly. I think I'm okay with 41% Shaden Sharp. I think I want a little bit of Herter, so I'm going to move him up a little bit. And just to give you some idea of like why I'm setting the numbers at where I am, usually I'm thinking in relation to 5x, like what would be 5x or in relation to the players around them. So it's still like, there's a little bit of like math that I'm doing in my head here, but typically it's just like all right, so he's 5,900. So I put him at 29. That's just, so double 29 would be 58, which would be, so 5x would be 5x for 5,800 would be 29. So 5,900 would be a little bit higher than that. So it's just kind of, eyeballing it. There's, again, it's loosey goosey math-ish kind of stuff. Man, I'm only getting 7% Kamara. Kind of want everybody on that team. And I set a limit to max 3 of anybody on the team. We just got Vince Williams out for Memphis, so that's going to help a little bit with some of those projections potentially. Oh, good. We got the Cubs lineup. I'm playing a lot of the Cubs. Go Justin Steele. How about some run support? Checking it on chat real quick. Okay. No new questions. Moses Moody, getting to a little bit. I'm going to boost him a little bit. Gary Trent. I don't think I want 0 Gary Trent. So I'm going to move him up slightly. %, Karis LeVert. Move him up slightly. Jacoby Walter. I mean, I'll get some more. I'm going to move him up slightly. Grayson Allen starting. Love to see it. Do you love to see it? Revenge game for Grayson Allen. Getting the start. Do I want more than 20%? And now, because again, all projections are relative, I've now changed other people's projections relative, and generally I've been moving players up. So now he actually projects a little bit worse relative to all those other players. So I'm going to just try to at least like keep him around where I was. I think I'm okay with not getting into any Torian Prince. Probably want a little bit of Buddy. Move him up a little bit to keep up. Now I moved Delano Banton down 4 fantasy points. We'll see if I might still get 100%. Now Vince Williams was just ruled out. So I'm only going to move him down to 8 fantasy points, which basically assures I'm not going to get to any. But I want to leave him in there just because I don't want him to completely disappear. Because I want to see later when they update projections. It doesn't really matter. All right, small forward. I already moved Franz up. Jimmy, I'm going to move him up to 5x. Kobe White, I moved up. Josh Hart, I like it. Okay. %, Denny Avdia. It's a bit much. I'm going to move him down slightly. I do like him, but 66% OG, I'm going to move down slightly. See, normally when I'm doing this on my own, I start by going like the first couple iterations through, I only move projections up. So I only move up players I want more of. And then like 4th run through, then I'll start moving down players that I want less of. But on these shows, I always run out of time. So I'm just doing more of it up front here. Kuzma, I think I want more than 1%. It's a little bit messier this way, but I might change a lot of these players. Okay, I moved him up a little bit already. Maybe I'll move up Man a little bit more even. I don't know. He's not gonna be a great value regardless. All right, power forward. 37% Giannis. I'm happy with that. 10.5% Paolo. I think I want more. I like the matchup enough. I think there's upside there. I moved up Jimmy, Josh Hart, Denny, Triple J. Oh yeah, so I was gonna say the reason. So I played 14% Triple J yesterday, and that went well. And my entire reason was if you use the Rotogrinders defense versus archetype tool, he had, I believe, the best possible matchup for versatile bigs yesterday. So it's like, yeah, I'll give it a shot. See because he was projected for no ownership. I think he came at like 3%, which was about where he was projected. So I was very happy to get more than the field of Triple J. Now today, I still kind of like, I just like the competitiveness of this game. So I'm going to move him up quite a bit, still a little bit worse than 5x. Going to move Draymond up also. Refresh this. A little bit worse than 5x. All right, well, Draymond's more expensive than Kuzma, so I should move him up to at least, because I don't want that much of either, but I want a little bit. Justin Edwards. Do I want any Justin Edwards? I don't know if I do. I can't decide if I want any Justin Edwards. I'll move him up a little bit. I think he's fine. Like, get him into that range where I might get some, I might not. I don't care that much. Matas. Move him up a little bit. Ryan Dunn is starting. Just rounded him up. Jonathan Mobo. Now I'm not getting to. I was getting to some earlier. Kind of like the upside there. Patrick Williams. I think I'm okay not getting to Patrick Williams. Bol, since he's not starting, I'm okay not getting any. 35% Precious. Already moved him down a bit. I'll keep him right there. All right, and then finally, centers. Vooch. Do I want Vooch against Toronto? Who's their center? Are they starting? Oh, Pirtle's their center. But he's only going to play limited minutes. I'm kind of intrigued. Vooch does better against smaller centers, but nah, I'm not going to bother. Kongwu looks pretty. I'm only getting 5%. I want more than that of a Kongwu. Clingy can't stop him, right? I want a little bit more Brolo. I do want more Klingon also, I think. Wendell Carter. Looks like I need to move some of these players up more. Because you can see that Adam Bono is cheaper, has a projection of 27.5. Still only got to 4.7%. So if I want more, if I want any of these guys, I probably need them to project at least the same, ideally better. I got to 21.6% Zach Edey. I'm comfortable with that number. It's a pretty big stand for a player that's not getting any ownership, but I don't mind it. And I'm probably going to get less now because I moved other players up. I did move Mitchell Robinson down. All right, I'm gonna run this now so that I have time to. I think I already moved Mitchell Robinson down, but I wanted to give myself time to do another. Oh, Jeremy Sohan's out. Thank you, Matthew. Interesting. Does that game start at lock? No. Starts after lock. Still, like, ideally we would have that accounted for. And look, projection removed. Good. Still at 100% Delano Banton. Still at 69, 68, 58, 4% Precious Achiuwa. So now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go, first I'm going to get rid of the first build, go back to my player pool, sort by actual exposure. And so now I'm just going to, like, if there's a player I'm getting way too much, I'm just going to quickly dock him a little bit. So Delano Banton, 100%. I don't really, like, I'm not that mad if I get 100%, but I'm going to move him down slightly. OG, going to move him down. Mikal Bridges, going to move him down to just a little bit more than our Precious. That's still too much. So I'm going to move him down to Denny Avdia. Shaden Sharp. Now I think I'm comfortable with this amount of Shaden Sharp. That is a lot of the loan, right? But I didn't even change his projection. I'll accept it, I think. 32.7% Mitchell Robinson. I didn't move him up that far off the source, so I'm okay with that, I think. I like taking a big stand on Zach Edey. I think I'm okay with that. Okay. Any other players that I need to move up now? How much KPJ did I get? I think I want to move KPJ up before I run this. Yeah, I'm going to move him up a bit. Move him up to 27 minutes. What does that get him to? All right. I do have to get this in though. Oh yeah, I only have, all right. All right, this is going to be my final run before lock. Can obviously make changes after lock as necessary, but I got to get this one in because half the game start right at lock. So now you're going to get to watch me panic for a minute as I download this, put it into a spreadsheet, upload to DraftKings. Plenty of time though. Plenty of time. Export. 99% Delano Banton. All right, good. Move myself down to 99%. There we go. We're in. All right, so let me see what this actually looks like. What do my lineups look like? I have 99% Delano Banton. Only moved Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby down to 64% with those changes. All right, well, I'm living with it. How the hell did I get to 50% mommy? I did not try to do that. Oh, so they upped their projection with Sohan out. I assume that was not my doing. Let me see. Yeah, so his projection jumped, I think, with the Sohan news. So we went from somebody that I was getting to a little bit to somebody who's in most of my lineups. So that's interesting. I don't know if I love that. How much did that move me off of Zach Edey? Because I don't love that. I'm only at 11% Edey now. So that did move me down quite a bit. Still well above the field's projected ownership there on Edey. All right. That's all right. Okay. So I've got a ton of 99% Delano Banton, 64% Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, 50% Mommy, 46% Denny Avdia, 39% Delone Wright. Who's coming in at very low ownership. 38% Shaden Sharp, 35% Precious Achiuwa, 34% Trey Young, 32% Mitchell Robinson, 28% Keldon Johnson, 26% Josh Hart, 23% Devin Booker. Nobody else over 20% here. 11% Zach Edey. I took a big stand there. 7% KPJ, double the projected ownership of the field. All right. Alvaro says, Neil makes me feel better about myself. I swear I'm a crunch up to like 76 seconds left. Yeah, I actually missed MLB lock yesterday because I did not realize. So the NBA projection you just saw, I ran the crunch, went pretty quickly. Like it was not didn't take all that much time. But MLB, there's a lot more rules, like with all of the groups and stuff. And so I'm used to running it and it takes under 2 minutes. So I ran it with like 4 minutes before lock. I ran my MLB lineups and they were not done before lock. So I missed, and it was like two of the best pitchers on the slate started right at lock. So that was disappointing, but I ended up doing okay. Luckily, I got to just more Cubs as a result, and the Cubs did well. I think this is exactly right. Optimal Prime says, now I realize the goal is to take the 150 and make it as close to what you would do if you had the ability to hand build 150 lineups, taking into account ownership and projections. That's essentially just the goal of my goal, at least using an optimizer. It's different than Sims, which is like an optimizer is just trying to give you the best projected lineups within the constraints that you set. A Sim is like giving you better lineups by the default, because they are, just like sort of automatically, I don't know, I'm wording this poorly, but like they're taking into account ownership for you, and they're taking into account the range of outcomes and the field, depending on the type of sim you're running. But yeah, with the optimizer, yeah, that's basically what I'm trying to do. Is like, if I were hand building lineups, what would I want those lineups to look like? And then I set rules to try to make the set of lineups look mostly like that. And I'm certainly don't do it in a perfect way, but do my best. MPJ now listed questionable. Raptors will start quickly. Walter, Battle, Barnes, and Pirtle. So no Jamal Shed starting for the Raptors. Has he been? Jacoby Walters in the starting lineup. Jamison, Battle. Bulls will start Giddey, White, Herter, Vazelis, Vucevic. Okay, that's as expected. I'll have to see if Jamal Shed's projection comes down at all. Also, with Vince Williams out, is that going to? I assume that these projections were updated for Vince Williams out anyway. So if there was anybody who looked a lot better for Memphis, probably is accounted for in my lineups. But anyway, that's going to do it. We got Timberwolves playing tonight. We've got my guy Justin Steele pitching tonight for the Cubs. I'm excited. It's gonna be a fun night of sports and of course of DFS. Oh man, I did not move down. I made this fancy sidebar, or the bar below me, and I did not move it beyond point guards as I went. Apologies. I meant to do that the second time through. Meant to come back and do that, but I did not do so. So hopefully that was not too distracting, or somebody would have told me. All right. That's going to do it for this show. I will be on the Rotogrinders show before lock tomorrow, which I believe is listed as a basketball/baseball show with Derek Carty, but most of the baseball games are starting earlier in the day. So I don't know, maybe they've changed that. I'm not sure. But yeah, you can find me on the Rotogrinders channel tomorrow. Thursday, back with Jake Tribby doing UFL breakdown. Friday, I've got nothing currently planned. Maybe I'll do something. We'll see. Hopefully, I don't get super sick soon, but that's going to do it. If you haven't done so, you should sign up for Unabated. Check out Rotogrinders. All of the links for all that stuff, if you want it, is in the description of this video. You can join the Flannelverse Discord. That is also in the description of this video. Generally pretty quiet. We've had a little bit more action this week than in recent weeks. So hopefully picking back up, really get the most usage during NFL season, but best ball season coming up also. So yeah, check it out. Thank you guys for hanging out. Hopefully you can make some money tonight in DFS. I can make some money tonight in DFS. Let's do it. I'll see you guys later. Thanks.